Well, hello, everyone. This is Bob Ferguson. And today I have my positive intelligence hat on. Now, I read the book Positive Intelligence and thought it was pretty fascinating. But about 3 years ago, I actually went through the program. And it was so astonishing and made such a big difference to me that I decided that I would actually become a coach. And so that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. And Mendy, I think you went through with me, what, a couple of years ago?
It has been a couple of years.
Yeah. And Claire is going through now. So I've got my friend, Mendy McAdams, the executive director of the Chair Fairfield Chamber of Commerce. And Claire, her admin does not do justice. Claire is just like phenomenal
Administrator.
phenomenal, administrator and absolutely fabulous person. So, since I'm offering this program to Fairfield and beyond once a month, I decided that I would ask Claire and Mindy to come on and just briefly describe their experience with it and why, as chamber director and chamber administrator, that they think it'd be a great idea for anyone who's interested in it to go through it. So, Mindy and Claire, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks for having us. And Claire is the official chamber rock star, I believe is her new title.
CRS, yes.
Yes, yes,
Claire Reed, CRS. Right? Okay,
I
yes.
like that.
great.
Yeah, well, our chamber is very event heavy. We have a lot of moving parts all the time and no 2 days are ever the same here. So for me, I'm a very high strung person. I'm aware of that. I'm also very when I did the evaluation, I'm a people pleaser to the end. I'm also like hypercritical of myself and an overachiever. So for me, it was more about learning to let go, to not always feel like it has to be perfect all of the time. Good enough is good enough. That was one of the biggest parts for me, and learning to quiet the voices in my head and make time for me. I had a lot of negative self-talk for a long time, and I really feel like going through positive intelligence helped me have less negative self-talk as well.
So beautiful. And Claire, how about you?
Well, I mean, like you said, I just started 3 weeks ago. So, what is that, about halfway through our program? And I think what I like about it really is we all have negativity in our lives. We all have negative emotions, regardless of whether we're working in a corporate setting or stay at home or just in dealing with relationships. We all have that. But we're all very, very different. And what I like about this program is that it helps you identify what those things are and learn how to make them work for you. And it's not an easy process.
You're in the hard part, right? The first 3 weeks are,
Yeah, I'm in the thick of it.
yeah,
Um, but our little group, like we were talking about earlier, our little group that we meet with every week, they share their stories and how they're different and the ways that they're challenging themselves. And it's just very enlightening. And it's nice to not feel alone as you're trying to work through this process. So I've been really enjoying it.
that's great. So I think many people would say, what's the difference between this and any number of self-development programs? And I'm sure both of you have gone through plenty. So maybe draw some distinctions so people can understand why this may be different and perhaps more valuable than many.
I think a big part for your program is that one, you keep it in a small group and you really you commiserate together and you become pretty decent friends in the end of it. And like Claire said, you learn that you're not alone in what you're feeling. And sometimes we know what we know because that's what we know. And learning how other people deal can give you some insight into other ways to react when your negative thoughts come in. And I would highly recommend it to anyone because regardless of what level you are and regardless of how many years of therapy you've been going through, this program will help you. And one of my favorite lessons, which I don't know if Claire's been there yet, so sorry if I spoil this one for you, is where you have your baby picture and you learn that your negative self-talk in the perspective of, would I say that to my younger self? For me, that was mind blowing. I think that one for me was just the best part of it for me. Really
Uh,
changed my perspective.
yeah. So Claire, how about you? What message do you have for our members and others?
I think the difference really is the approach. I mean, a lot of this is a lot of self work. Um, but self work can be really, really hard. And I could go out and read a book, and, I've read a bunch of personal development, and it's really easy to read a book and leave it and go on with your life and remember some of those things every now and then. But what this program is doing is forcing you to attempt to make a routine of identifying these pathways in your brain, and then circling back, and like I said, you're never alone. So you've got an app, you've got reminders, you've got daily tasks, and they're frequent but small, and those are very habit forming. And then every week you kind of get to reset a couple of times a week. So being able to reset individually on the weekend and then coming together again with your group during the middle of the week really kind of helps you stay on track. So I think that sets it apart too.
That's
That's
great. The thing that really struck me was that this is not just talking. It's not just intellectual understanding. In fact, we say that about 20% of the impact of the program is intellectual understanding, which is important. 80% is actually brain training. The foundation of this program are these little brain training exercises we call PQ apps. And basically, what they do is just allow the brainstem, which creates all that negative talk, to settle down, and the cortex, where all the good stuff, right? All the capacity to grow and develop and innovate and empathize and everything, all of that's there. These little exercises fire up the part of the brain where those capabilities live and settle down the brainstem. So, how does that practice help distinguish this program from programs that are merely live on the level of the intellect?
Well, I did this program 2 years ago, and I still find myself doing some of the resetting things, especially this thing. I do this one all the time. And so I find myself still using those, even though I haven't looked at that app in well over a year. I haven't been with my cohort in well over a couple of years. So it obviously made my brain reset how it thinks. And now those are just part of my normal common reactions in my daily life.
Beautiful. And Claire, how about you?
Yeah. And I mean, I look at those, especially now, like in the thick of it for me, I look at those steps as like going to the gym. Like you can you can know all about physical health and wellness, but putting it into practice is a hurdle all its own. Like actually
Actually, going to the
taking
gym.
action is a lot harder than just saying, "Oh, I know what I need to do," but then it's doing it. And so right now, I'm in the part of the program where you're forcing yourself a little bit to do those workouts until it's second nature, it becomes ingrained. So I've never really had a program that had me doing something quite to this level every single day. And they're simple, but sometimes simple is still hard.
Yeah, we're not talking about hours. We're talking about minutes.
Yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
it's like your chamber membership, right? I joined the chamber. Great. If somebody calls and they ask for your service, we're gonna have to give them your number. But if you're not getting sponsorships, if you're not coming to an event, if you're not active in it, if you're not doing it, that's all you're getting. So it's making yourself do the work. It's worth every minute of it.
Ladies, thank you very, very much. This is so wonderful to get this reflection back from both of you, a little bit of an older hand and with it, and then a newbie. So great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bob. Have a
Thanks for
great
having
day.
us.